Hi guys, we're here today for a core and lower body workout. We'll just need a little block. If you don't have a block, feel free to just do it without, you so can. If you do, just join me on the mat with your block. Just have it next to you within reach. We're gonna have a lie down on your back, getting started into our core work. You might just wanna push that block away. So we're gonna lengthen the arms sort of by the sides. And then you can gently just sway the legs from side to side. Nice. If you feel like a little sticky spot, stay there for a breath or two before moving on. Nice work. We're going to come all the way back through center. Pick up the right knee. Maybe take it into chest. Feel free to extend the left leg. Maybe you want to do a little bit of circles. Let's do 2 per direction. And then we're going to go all the way. Take a big breath in. We're going to cross the body over and rotate eye gaze towards the hands. Just 3 big breaths. Big breath in. I'm going to swap legs. Great. Left leg comes in. Got the option for the right leg to extend long. And you can just do little circles. Beautiful. Swapping directions. Coming back through center. We're going to cross it over the body. Eye gaze just towards that outstretched arm to the left. Crossing the leg to the right. And then all the way back through center, have a little breath. Awesome. We are going to grab hold of your block. And you're going to start off with the block lengthways between the knees. If you don't have your block, I'm going to just turn that one over. If you don't have that block, you can do it without. Just have the legs squeezed together or hip width apart. Now we're going to have your hands behind the head, thumbs running down the back of the neck, elbows nice and wide. And on the exhale, we're going to start off with a little ab curl. Exhale, lift the head, neck and shoulders up. And as we do, can we have a little squeeze into that block? So we're starting to begin to work those inner thighs. Inhale, slight release, rest the chest down. Exhale, scoop through the belly, big squeeze, ribcage draws down. Inhale, release, rest the chest. Continue here, big squeeze and curl. Think hip bones in, lift up through that pelvic floor, about 30% of the way before we inhale, rest, release. Now, your head is heavy in the hands. If you'd prefer arms out long, that's fine. But you want to think that's your core lifting the chest up rather than you pulling on your neck and shoulders. Scoop and lift. Have that big squeeze the block. Inhale to rest. Nice work. Great, let's just do last 6. Squeezing each time. For 5. Just 4. You've got 2 more, doing really well. Keep the shoulders down and back. Last one, and then we're going to add on. Beautiful. At the bottom, I just want you to make sure you get a gentle imprint. So a gentle tilt of the pubic bone up towards the rib cage. Hold that pelvis there. We're going to go back into the curl. Exhale, scoop and curl, and can we hold? Squeezing that block. We're going to lift the legs into tabletop. Can we just tap the toes down and then rest the chest, holding ribcage drawing down. Exhale, scoop and curl, squeeze. Can we hold the squeeze as we lift? Lower. Then slight release of the block as we rest the chest. Scoop and curl, big squeeze. We're going to lift legs into tabletop, knees over hips, ankles in line with the knees. Drop the toes. Rest the chest. Can we just do 4? Last 3. Let's draw those shoulders down away from your ears. So you're keeping space between your shoulders and your ears. Last 2. We got 1 more. And then on this next one, we're going to hold the chest lifted. Exhale, scoop and lift. Hold the chest lifted. We're going to lift. We're going to lower those toes. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Feel free to lengthen the arms by the side if that feels more comfortable. For 8. Last 7. Drop the head if you need, but try to keep the chest lifted for 6. Think about length through the back of the neck. Eye gaze to the tops of knees. 5. Squeeze that block. 4. Nice. 3. 2. We're going to bring it back to tabletop. 1. Little block squeezes. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Let's lift the chest, head, neck, and shoulders up. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Can we drop the chest? I'm going to reach the arms up. Still have the blocks between the thighs. Give those shoulders a roll. Can we walk the heels fairly close to the bottom? Take a big breath in. I'm going to squeeze the block, tilt the pelvis up towards the rib cage. I'm going to roll through the spine 1 vertebrae at a time up to your knees, hips, and shoulders are in 1 long line. Take a big breath in. And then we're going to roll down through the spine 1 vertebrae at a time, length through each side of the waist, coming back with a neutral pelvis. Squeeze, tilt the pelvis, scoop the belly. We roll all the way up, have that big squeeze at the bottom at the top. Big breath in. And then you're going to start rolling all the way down through the spine, coming back neutral pelvis. Gorgeous. Let's go again. Squeeze the block. Have that big breath in. And then we roll down through the spine. Nice. Just make sure your knees are in line, the second to third toes. Adjust the feet if you need. Now, if you prefer to have your hands on the floor, that's fine. It's just a little bit trickier with the arms to the ceiling. If you're not using your upper body to push into the floor as much, you're going to have to use your core and you're going to have to use your legs. Now, just be aware that you're not flaring into your rib cage. I want to see your rib cage drawing down, so not flaring to find that top bit and arching through your lower back. We keep drawing your rib cage down towards the hips. Nice. Can we do 4? Squeeze the block each time. Have that big breath in, and then exhale, we roll down. You can release the block at the bottom. Last 3. Just 2. Can we do 1 more? Take a big breath in. We're going to hold at the top. And we're going to pulse. Hips up a centimeter, down a centimeter, up a centimeter, down a centimeter. Breathing naturally. Can we maintain a slight squeeze on that block? Getting a little bit through those inner thighs. You've got 5. For 4, a little bit tighter. We're going to hold at the top in 3, in 2, lift and hold 1, squeeze that block, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, rolling down through the spine. Nice. We're going to take that block and let's pop it underneath the left foot. Great. And you have your right toes. Just do a double check that your right toes are sort of on the floor. Try to have them as in line as we can. Reset length through the side of the waist. Now you can start off with your hands on the floor, or you can go straight away with your arms to the ceiling. We're just going to go neutral spine. So hips straight up, and then hips straight down. Can you just do 4 more? Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Beautiful. For 3. Nice. Last 2. Last one, lift and hold. I want you to really squeeze that left bottom to pick your right leg up into tabletop. We're going to tap those right foot down, and then we rest. Exhale, lift. Really squeeze left bottom. Once again, right leg lifts to tabletop. We're going to lower, and then we lower hips. Nice. For 4. Beautiful. Last 3. Stunning. 2. Can we do one more? Great. We're going to hold at the top. Hold, big squeeze of the left bottom. Can we tap right toes down? And we lift, right toes up. Exhale down. Inhale to lift. Great. Hips are still. Exhale down. Inhale, lift. Great. For 6. You've got 5. Nice. 4. Get ready to hold in 3. Beautiful. 2. Last one. Hold. Can we reach your toes to the ceiling? And we're going to drop your hips straight down. Great. And then I'm going to lift the hips straight up. Exhale. Inhale, straight down. Stunning. Exhale. Lift. Beautiful. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Gorgeous. Big squeeze to the bottom and that back of the left side. Think about reaching those toes to the ceiling. Now, if you want to add on, we're going to lift and hold. Can we lower your right toes, so your knee to knee? We lift, and then we're going to lower once again. Exhale, scoop. Lift the leg. We're going to lower those toes, back up, and then lower once again. Great. Let's do 6. Nice. 5. Stunning. Last 4. You've got 3. 2. Can we do one more? Take a big breath in. Last one. Take a second at the bottom because we're going to hold at the top. Big breath in. Can we lift and hold? Just that leg. Lower the toes. Lift for 5. Great. For 4. Let's lift those hips a little bit higher. 3. Nice. 2. Great. Toes to the ceiling. Hold 1. We pulse. 5. 4. 3, 2, and 1. Rolling down through the spine. Oh my goodness. If you need to just hug that left leg into chest or extend that left leg to the ceiling, just for a couple of breaths, maybe point and flex the foot. Just have that little stretch out. Take that second. We're going to go straight away into the other leg. So I'm going to place, like we did left leg first, for those of you who have that weaker left leg. Place the block, didn't do my sentence halfway through. Right foot, right block. Great, reset that spine. We've got that length through each side of the waist. Hands on the floor for more support or hands to the ceiling. Now we're gonna go straight up, hips straight up. Exhale. Nice, hips straight down. Inhale. Rib cage draws down. Exhale, we lift. Nice, inhale, we lower. Beautiful, exhale, squeeze and lift. Inhale, lower. Can we just do 3? Then we're going to add on. Nice. In 2. Last one. We're going to lift and hold. Squeeze that right bottom to lift your left leg into tabletop. Great. We're going to tap that foot on the floor and then we lower. Great. Exhale, lift. Squeeze, left leg lifts, exhale. We lower, inhale, and then we lower. Great. Keep going. Big squeeze. We lift, lower, then lower the hips. Nice. Maintain the height of hips. Maintain that length through each side of the waist. We're keeping the legs as parallel as we can. 5. We're going to hold at the top in 4. Nice. 3. Last 2. Great. Last one. Finish it off. Take a big breath in. Hold at the top. Just that toe tap. Exhale to lift. We tap. Gorgeous. We lift. We tap. For 5. Hips are level. For 4. Great. Big squeeze to the bottom. 3. Nice. 2. 1. We hold. Can we lengthen that leg to the ceiling? Now we're going to drop the hips straight down. Keep the leg long. Exhale, lift hips straight up. Inhale, lower straight down. Exhale, straight up. Big squeeze through the leg. Maintaining knees in line with second to third toes. Try to keep the chest still relaxed, even if your arms are to the ceiling. Make sure your hands are directly over the shoulders, not edging towards the edge of your mat. Nice. On this next one, can we hold up? We're going to lower knee to knee. We lift to the ceiling, and then we rest. Exhale, lift. Can we lower knee to knee? Back to the ceiling, and then rest. Nice. You've got 5. For 4. Beautiful. 3. For 2. Can we do one more? Take a big breath in at the bottom. We're just working with that leg lower. Lift. We're going to lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Lift. For 4. 3. 2. 1. Leg to the ceiling. Hold. Pulse that hip. Up and down. 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Rolling down. Nice work. We can hug that right leg into chest. May even extend the toes to the ceiling. Have a little breather. Maybe you want to point and flex the foot. We're just getting a little bit more into core. Great. And then you guys are free. It is a quick one today. Awesome. So we're going to find that gentle tilt pelvis up to the ribs. We're going to bring those legs back into tabletop. We're going to have your hands above the shoulders. Now we're going to go back into a curl. Exhale, scoop and curl. Can we place the block down? And then we're going to rest hands back over the shoulders, chest down. Exhale, scoop and curl. We pick up the block. And I'm going to rest the block down, your chest down, sorry, with the block in the hands. So we curl, we leave the block on the shins, rest, exhale, curl, reset, block in the hand, rest. We're going to pop the block there, drop the shoulders, reset, exhale, scoop and curl, and then rest. Nice. For 4. This is great to help you hold a correct tabletop position. Last 3, we are going to add on. In 2. Nice. Last one. The next time we rest the chest down with your block in your hands, we're going to extend one leg out long. We're going to bring it back in to curl. Rest the chest. Exhale, scoop. Opposite leg extends. Nice. We're going to bring it back. Rest the chest with the block down. Great. Continue alternating. Now, if you're feeling good and you want to go double, go double. It's going to be tough though, so see how we go. But you're doing awesome. Just make sure that you might have to go double a little bit higher to keep that correct position of the pelvis. We don't want anyone hurting their backs. Let's go 4. Last 3. Nice. 2. Finish off this last one. And then take a little breath. Now, can we extend both legs to the ceiling? Actually, we're going to place those feet down first, and you're going to place the block just underneath the tailbone. Now, if you absolutely hate the block, feel free to take the block away. If not, we're going to keep the block there. Nice. I'm going to send your legs to the ceiling. Great. So you almost find a neutral pelvis on the block. Sometimes it might feel nicer lengthways. You might just need to have a little play with what position. I decided it felt better the first time. Legs to the ceiling. Great. You can have your hands on your tummy, your arms by the side. We're going to start off with your leg lowest. So exhale, lower. Inhale, we come back through center. Exhale, lower. Stunning. Inhale, back through center. Really keep that rib cage melting down. Now, when we're lifted on the block, it usually takes a little bit away from the hip flexors. So hopefully get a little bit more core, but if it doesn't feel good for your spine, you take that block away. Last 8. Head down if we've got the block underneath the bottom. It's just a little bit too much flexion of the spine if you got your chest lifted as well. For 7. Amazing. Focus on that length. Think about dropping that thigh bone deep into the hip socket. Last 6. Legs maintain parallel for 5. 4. Nice. 3. 2. And 1. Squeeze the thighs together. You can stay there, or we're going to go double. Exhale, lower. Inhale to lift. For 7. Last 6. Nice work here. Keep drawing that rib cage down. Try not to arch through that back, on the block. Last 4. 3. 2. Last 1. Beautiful. You can hug the knees into chest. Just take that block away. Nice. We're going to pick up the left ankle and just cross it over the left knee. The right knee, left ankle, right knee. And you can just open your hand onto the left knee, so open it out to the side. If you want a little bit more, also hug the hands around that right thigh. We're just going to take 3 big breaths. In through the nose. Exhale out through the mouth. Nice and slow, coming back to that breath. If you want a little bit more of that hamstring, just extend your right toes to the ceiling. You might get a little bit more of that right thigh. And once again, you can come back to the point and flexors of the foot and see how that changes your stretch. If not, you can just hold. Lovely. We're just going to swap legs. So left foot down, right ankle crosses over the left knee. Now you can either just stay here and gently open your hand. Hand opens out your right knee. Or we can hug that left leg into chest and come back to your breath. Extend left toes to the ceiling if it feels good, if you want a bit more of a stretch of your hamstring. And once again, you can sort of experiment with pointing and flexing your toes. Amazing. When you're ready, we're going to release the legs and come on up. Amazing, guys. That was your lower body and core block class all done. Thanks for joining.